The Omen in the Shadows. The mournful howl echoed through the forest, raising the hairs on Mina's arms. She paused on the hiking trail, peering into the dense trees all around. There was no sign of an actual dog out there. Just that lone, haunting cry hanging in the stillness. "Did you hear that?" she asked her boyfriend Jaeho. He paused up ahead and glanced back. "Yeah, probably just a stray dog somewhere. Nothing to worry about." With a shrug, he continued along the winding path. Mina hurried to catch up, but the eerie sound lingered in her mind. Soon they arrived at the secluded mountain cottage owned by Jaeho's family. It was a quaint timber structure surrounded by soaring pines and overlooking a glassy lake. Mina was enthralled by the scenery, but felt unsettled being so far from any town or people. That night after dinner, they sat cuddled on the sofa before a crackling fire. Mina burrowed into Jaeho's side, comforted by his warmth and solidness. She was just drifting off when the mournful howl came again, closer this time. She jolted upright. "Jaeho, it's that dog again. It sounds so sad and creepy." He tightened his arm around her shoulders. "It's probably a stray lost in the woods. Nothing to fear." Even as he spoke, the firelight seemed to dim. A heaviness settled in the air, like the weight of a coming storm. The howling trailed off, leaving behind an uncanny silence. Mina shivered, feeling suddenly cold to her core. Over the next few days, the howling continued sporadically, setting Mina further on edge whenever she heard it. She searched the internet for rational explanations but found only eerie folktales. Legend said a spirit dog called Yeowoo roamed the mountains, its otherworldly cries an omen of misfortune or death. The tales sent a chill down Mina's spine. She told herself to stop being silly, yet couldn't fully shake the sense of dread. On their fifth night at the cottage, Mina lay awake long after Jaeho had drifted off. Wind lashed the trees outside their window. Over its roar came the now familiar mournful howl. Mina froze, skin prickling. There was something different in the sound tonight, somehow closer and more plaintive. Unable to lay there listening to it, she slipped from bed to peek out the window. The inky forest revealed nothing. But as she watched, two gleaming eyes suddenly shone from the tree line, flashing red in the night. Mina stumbled back in shock. A shape took form, trotting forward on four legs. The shadowy outline of a great hound filled the window before the spectral eyes vanished. Mina spun and shook Jaeho's shoulder. "Wake up. It's right outside the house," he murmured groggily as she dragged him from bed. She pointed out the window. "I saw it, the spirit dog. It was looking right at me with these burning red eyes and..." Her voice trailed off. The yard lay empty, only darkness beyond the glass now. Jaeho squinted out. "There's nothing there, Mina. You must have dreamed it." "No, it was so real," she insisted, but uncertainty tinged her voice. Jaeho guided her gently back to bed. Sliding under the covers, Mina couldn't prevent nagging fear from twisting her gut. Eventually she slipped into restless sleep. The next day over breakfast, she asked, "Jaeho, does your family ever talk about strange things happening at the cottage? Maybe ghost stories or superstitions?" He lowered his coffee mug, looking thoughtful. "You know, now that you mention it, I vaguely recall my grandmother once warning us kids not to play in the woods after dark. She said an evil spirit in the form of a giant wolf dog roamed out there." Mina shivered. "Do you think that's what I heard last night?" "I'm sure it was just a vivid dream," Jaeho said soothingly. But he couldn't fully mask the flicker of unease in his eyes. That night, Mina lay huddled under the blankets, listening fearfully for any sounds. As midnight approached, an eerie stillness cloaked the forest. The only noise was the wind whistling around the eaves. Mina finally drifted off out of pure exhaustion. Sometime later, she was torn from sleep by a thunderous crashing from outside. She shot upright in bed. Jaeho was already rushing to the window. He yanked back the curtains, and they both cried out. The giant shadowy form of a hulking dog was circling the cottage, smashing its body against the walls.
Blood-red eyes glowed malevolently at them through the glass.
Mina screamed as one great paw shattered the window, splintering glass across the room.
She scrambled backward and fell off the far side of the bed.
Jaeho shouted and grabbed a chair, hurling it at the attacking creature. The chair passed straight through the apparition, which let loose an unearthly howl that shook Mina to her core.
She whimpered, curling into a ball on the floor. Heavy paws thudded around the bed.
Rancid breath washed over her.
Then suddenly, silence.
After a paralyzed moment, Mina uncurled and crawled shakily upright.
The phantom dog was gone. Jaeho stood by the demolished window, chest heaving. He turned and they clung to each other wordlessly.
As the shock began to fade, Mina realized she'd been right to fear the strange howling after all.
This was no ordinary wolf, but a vengeful spirit. She shivered to think what it intended for them next, and how they could possibly escape its malevolent presence. The creature continued plaguing them over the next few days.
They'd hear its chilling cries outside at all hours, but it never appeared bodily again. Mina barely slept, jumping at every little sound. She insisted they leave the cottage immediately, but fierce snowstorms had blown in, trapping them there.
All they could do was wait out the storm, praying the spirit hound didn't return.
On their final night, Mina lay rigid with dread as the wind howled.
A different howling soon mingled with it. She squeezed her eyes shut, wishing it all away.
Jaeho shot upright in bed. "I hear something downstairs."
Thumping and crashing sounds rose from below.
Grabbing a fire poker, Jaeho crept to the top of the stairs.
Mina huddled behind him.
At the bottom, the massive shadowy form of the dog spirit could be seen knocking over furniture, red eyes blazing up at them. Jaeho yelled and charged down, swinging the poker.
It whistled through the spirit with no effect.
With a bellowing bark, the phantom bounded up the steps toward them. They ran back into the bedroom, slamming and locking the door.
Mina screamed as the creature hurled itself against the wooden barrier, claws splintering the surface.
Jaeho struggled to hold the door closed.
"What does it want from us?"
Mina shrieked.
There was no rationalizing this supernatural attack.
All she felt was blind terror as the beast raged outside.
With an almighty crash, the door shattered inward.
The monstrous dog loomed in the doorway, jaws gaping open impossibly wide. Jaeho yelled and rushed forward with the poker. As the dog's mammoth head lunged for his throat, Mina closed her eyes, unable to watch.
A heavy silence filled the room. Mina cracked her eyes open. The phantom was gone. The poker clattered to the floor from Jaeho's limp hand. He swayed there for a moment before crumpling. Mina rushed to him, rolling him over. His eyes were already glazing, blood pouring from a torn jugular. A mangled red mass of flesh and sinew remained where his throat had been. Mina wailed and pressed futile hands to the wound. But the life was rapidly fading from Jaeho. With a final choked gurgle, he went still. Mina collapsed over his body, screaming and weeping. The attack made no sense.
Why take Jaeho but leave her unharmed?
A cold thought crept into her anguished mind.
The shadowy hound must be Death's servant, come to claim Jaeho by fate's design.
Which meant it would be back for her in time.
Mina curled up alone on the cold floor. She had no doubt the spirit's eerie cries would soon herald her own demise.
For now, all she could do was wait in horror for its return.